Welcome to the Functional Nurse Podcast, where we explore how nurses are transforming healthcare through functional medicine and nurse-led innovation. I'm your host, Brigitte Sager, founder of the Institute for Functional Nursing. Here, we're reclaiming our role as healers and leaders, one root cause conversation at a time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Functional Nurse Podcast. My name is Brigitte Sager, and I'm your host. And we're going to do something a little bit different today. I want to give you a little bit of backstory that explains our topic. We are having a lot of conversations with nurses and nurse practitioners about our program, the Functional Nursing Program at IFN. And as you probably know by now, the Institute for Functional Medicine, maybe 2 years ago now, announced that they were going to change their certification process and that they were going to have like a separate entity drive their process for testing. I think a big reason behind that was that in the medical world, just like in the nursing world, there are true board certifications and they are not created by the program that is teaching the content. For example, if you're going to become a board certified medical surgical nurse, you can learn those skills in your workplace or maybe take a training course or a test prep course, but you take the board certification in a very similar way to how you took your RN or nurse practitioner license testing, where it's proctored. The questions have been developed by experts that are not the same people that are creating your education. Some other certifications might include like a particular program that you need to do. Nurse coaching is a great example of that, where there are several programs that you could take to prepare you for that board certification. But the American Holistic Nurses Association and AHNCC are the bodies that oversee that and have decided what the content will be and how the scope of practice will be evaluated to be certain nurses deserve that designation after testing. So all that to say that IFM is trying to shift their model for that reason. We know that functional medicine has a branding problem and they want to be respected and their board certification to be as respected as all the other medical board certifications that a physician would take. That's kind of the backstory of that when we step into us at the Institute for Functional Nursing. And ever since I created my very first course a long time ago, a lot of people have asked me, well, why don't you offer a certification at the end? And if you've been listening long enough, you know I feel really strongly that that is not something that we will ever do at IFN. The idea of creating our own certification doesn't hold a lot of credibility in my eyes. And all of our faculty feel the same way, that if nurses are going to be board certified in functional nursing, it should be done in the same manner I just mentioned. So our goal is to advocate for a functional nursing board certification, probably through AHNA or ANA, and that AHNCC designation as like overseeing it and helping to develop that. We are going to continue to advocate for that. And that isn't a fast process. That's something that takes years. That is the reality of board certifications. We're not too far behind cannabis nurses. They are working on that now. Nurse coaching did that several years ago. This is something that naturally happens in the field of nursing. In the meantime, for example, if you take our program, you get 152 contact hours. So that is a ton. You also get a certificate of completion to validate the fact that you've done the training. But a true board certification is something that you do need to test for in a formal way. And I know a lot of programs do offer that. My biggest issue with it is that it really dilutes what functional medicine is and the brand of just like the idea of functional nursing if everybody has a different board certification that isn't a formal one. In the meantime, like all of our faculty have become board certified through IFM over the years, and we feel like that is the most respected board certification that you can have. We're very proud of that. It was a very hard title to earn. And if nurses want an IFM board certification in the near future, to our knowledge, in the conversations I've had with them, they will have to review and approve programs, and that is not going to be something that happens quickly. For the time being, if you want to be board certified with the same initials as me and the faculty at IFN, you do need to do IFM, their whole program, and then take their board certification at the end. That new process for doing that is rolling out now. but you will still need to do their whole program to do that. To do that at the moment, the last time I looked, it was like $18,000 from the time you start the program until you have taken the prep course and gotten certified. It's gone up since then. I've seen comments that it's gone up, but I haven't done the math again. But it is a significant investment. A lot of potential students will ask me about that. Well, can I get board certified through IFM after doing your program? At the moment, the answer is no. We do teach to all of their published competencies, and we are the only nursing program doing that. We may be the only program other than them that does that. So we're very proud of that. We've put a lot of effort into making sure that our content is extremely comprehensive and nursing focused. And now we have 70 case studies from the time that nurses enter the program until they're done. So those are to help prepare them for putting this into practice. And clinical integration is a huge focus for us. Okay, but I don't want to ramble about that. I wanted to kind of paint the picture that we've been having a lot of talks about board certifications. And as we were developing the program, we found out that our program qualifies nurses for the holistic nursing board certification. Now we've been talking more about initials and what the certification means. If a student takes our program, we have an objective in every module that prepares them for that board certification. And then they can take the exam as long as they meet all of the other eligibility criteria. So that might be like if you need a certain number of hours or a particular degree. We don't imply that you're guaranteed to be able to take the exam. You do need to review those. In my experience, all of our students have met that criteria. To bring all that forward to what our topic is for today, I find that a lot of nurses are really confused about how to display their credentials or write their initials after their name. I wanted to do something a little bit different and kind of talk you through the official way to write your credentials. What I'm going to do is screen share and kind of talk through some things because I think this is something that we should probably look at visually. So let me share my screen and we'll go from there. And now a quick word about our sponsor, the Institute for Functional Nursing. IFN is the leading education and community platform for nurses bringing functional medicine into their practice. IFN offers everything from short, on-demand contact hour courses to the full functional nursing program designed specifically for nurses and nurse practitioners ready to practice root cause, whole person care. And if you're looking for connection and real-time learning, the Functional Nursing membership includes 4 live meetings every month where we cover case studies and have open discussions and connection. Come be a part of a movement that's redefining what it means to be a nurse. Visit fxnursing.com to learn more and join us. And now back to today's episode. This first slide here that I made is just kind of displaying what are the things that you're going to put after your name. The first thing after your name is going to be your highest degree earned. If you have an associate's degree, a bachelor's, a master's, or a doctorate, you would display that. And there are some caveats to this that I'm going to show you examples of, but in general, your highest earned degree is going to go first. When I say that, I mean nursing degree, because I will show you what some exceptions are. When you're doing this, if you earned it like I did, I earned my master's and then I went back to school and earned my doctorate. I do not need to add my MSN after the DNP. And I see that a lot where people will put all of their degrees. They'll have DNP, MSN, BSN, and then RN, etc. You do not need to do that. And it is a little bit of an alphabet soup to do that. If your highest degree is your BSN, that would be the only one you have. If your highest degree is a DNP, that would be the only one you have. The next thing that you'll have after your degree is your licensure. If you're an RN or an APRN, depending on the state, if you're in the United States, you might have ARNP or APRN or some other version of that to represent your advanced training. Licensure comes after degree. The third set of things that you'll include will be your national certifications. This is what we were talking about a minute ago. Board certifications count here. Anything that you've taken an official formal board certification exam for will go next. You can put those in the order that you feel reflects your skill set best. If you have more than one board certification, you can arrange those in the order that feels best to you. The final section is a little bit less common. If you had something that was like an award or an honor, that would go at the end. That typically, when I see it, is often somebody that has earned a fellowship designation. That one is less likely to be one that you're encountering. But if you do have something like a fellowship, that would go at the end. It's going to be your highest degree, your licensure, your certifications, and then any honors. I wanted to make the point here. What I also will see people do is if they're a nurse practitioner and an RN, and I definitely did this in the past until I realized this, your APRN requires you to be an RN. It is not necessary for you to list both. If you're doing advanced practice RN or advanced registered nurse practitioner, whatever the word order is for your state, you do not need to list RN before or after that because you do already include that. It's implied. Here is an example of a pretty straightforward one where this person would have their bachelor's degree is their highest degree. They're a registered nurse and they are a board certified medical surgical nurse. That is what that designation would look like. So that's pretty straightforward. What I wanted to show you that's an exception to what I said about your highest degree is if you have a degree that is not a nursing degree, you will list that also. A very common one would be if somebody already had a bachelor's degree and then they went back to school to become a nurse, they might have 2 degrees listed, the one from before they were a nurse and then their nursing one. That's a consideration. If you only have nursing degrees, you only need to list the highest tier one. In this example, what I'm showing you is that this person has gone back to school and gotten a master's in business. That one being their highest degree, it will be listed first. Because it's not a nursing degree, they will list their bachelor's degree as a nurse as well. I hope that's clear. Okay, so now if we add in what we were talking about a minute ago, if you became a holistic nurse by board certification. Let's say that Jane here has done our functional nursing program. She's graduated and she has met the eligibility requirements to do the holistic nursing board certification. She can then choose what order that she does those last 3 initials in. But let's say that she's also a nurse coach. If she's a nurse coach that's board certified, she can add this 3rd designation and it gets upgraded because of her holistic nursing board certification. I'm only showing you that because that's what mine is too. I know a lot of my students are nurse coaches. I wanted to show that example. That could go before the CMS RN or after. The order doesn't really matter. That's up to her. But this is where you're adding in what the holistic nursing board certification would look like. We take that a step further. I wanted to show you that when you do the holistic nursing board certification, you study for and take a specific exam depending on your degree. The basic one is for nurses that have a diploma or an associate's degree. They would be HNBC. If you have a bachelor's degree, you would do the example I showed a minute ago, where you would do holistic nurse bachelor's dash, it's HNBBC. If you are an advanced nurse, you've done a master's or doctorate, but you are not a nurse practitioner, you would get the next designation. But somebody with a master's or a doctorate in nursing, not a nurse practitioner, would be AHNBC. Then the final example here would be what the case was for me. If you're a nurse practitioner and you take this exam, then you would be APHN. BC. Those are just some examples I wanted to show you in case you're thinking about taking that exam. I plan on using this. I try to give my students a ton of resources to share this in the future for them. This one, if we look at mine, I just wanted to use it as an example. Mine has my doctorate because that's my highest degree. It has my designation as a nurse practitioner. It has my board certification as a family nurse practitioner. And it has my holistic nursing advanced practice board certification. I am also a board certified nurse coach. When you get the holistic one also, that upgrades those initials as well. Then, as I mentioned earlier, I'm board certified through the Institute for Functional Medicine. I have the IFMCP. And then finally, I'm a board certified nurse educator. That is my final one. So I wanted to show you the example here. You may know that I'm in school for a postdoctorate MBA. I added here that for me, it's the opposite of the example I already showed you, where my nursing degree will be my highest degree. When I finish my MBA, my DNP will go before that, and my MBA will go second because it's not a nursing degree. I should list it, but it shouldn't go above the doctorate. I wanted to show you what order that would go in. I wasn't just trying to show off my initials. I wanted to show you an example I could actually talk about. In general, those can get really, really long and it can feel kind of silly. I mean, they're very hard earned things. Those took me decades to earn. I wanted to show you how you can shorten your initials to be relevant to what you are doing. Maybe you do have more initials that aren't relevant to your current position. For me, since I'm primarily teaching my students now, this is what I usually use for my shorter initials. It's acknowledged acknowledging my doctorate, that I'm a board certified family nurse practitioner, and that I'm board certified through IFM, and that I'm a board certified nurse educator, because I feel like those are the most relevant to the work I'm doing right now. That's how I shorten mine. You can remove some initials if you want to, just to have some shorter initials for sanity's sake and space on a business card, for example, that being a little bit of a briefer version than the longer one that I shared previously. That's everything I wanted to show you. I hope that made sense. I hope that it maybe is applicable to you, or you can share it with a friend that is kind of curious about how to display their credentials, or if you have something new that's coming up that you're testing for, you'll know how to list that on your name moving forward. So until next time, be well. Thank you for tuning in to the Functional Nurse Podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps other nurses find this movement. To learn more about our programs and join the community at IFN, visit fxnursing.com. Together, we're not just rethinking healthcare, we are rebuilding it from the inside out.